Welcome back to Home vs. House. I'm Lisa, and this is a channel where I share budget-friendly DIY ideas on how to transform your living space into a home, how to add things that represents you, that you enjoy, how to put your handprints upon your space. In today's video, I am showing how I cozy up my living room for the winter, and then also how I incorporate house plants to not just add life into my space, but also to help me purify the air in the winter months when the home is closed up a bit. So keep watching, guys, and I hope you enjoy. Guys, this is what my living room looks like so far this winter. I did change up a few things in here over the last week in an attempt to cozy up this space, as well as I needed to move my plants away from this window because it was just a little bit too cold for them over there, even though this is a window that they get the most direct sunlight out of during the winter months. So I have them over here up against this wall, and I have them sitting on this shelving unit that I moved from my family room up here. And this shelving unit I purchased from Target over 6 years ago, and it still functions well. And so these plants, I would say I have been on this plant venture for a little bit over 2 years. This plant right here and then this one right here are my first two plants that I purchased in an attempt to purify the air in my home over the winter months. So this first plant is a spider plant, and it does have some baby plants on it right now. I'm just waiting for them to grow a little bit more roots on them before I take them off and plant them in a separate pot, as I did these ones down here. So I did these last week. Then this second plant up here is my pothos plant. I got this plant from Earl May in its baby stage, and it has grown quite a bit. I've had to cut it back a bit as well. I did recently cut it back and try to regrow some from that plant here. I'm keeping an eye on it to see how well it does. And then over here is my other pothos plant that I got about 1.5 years ago from a local plant store. Down here I have a set of baby spider plant that I transplanted a few months ago. And then here I have my mother-in-law's tongue and another one of the same plant. I recently moved these two plants up from my family room to see if they would do a little better up here. Then over here is my palm plant that I purchased from Walmart a week after Easter last year. And this plant was marked down to, I believe it was like $6 or so at the time. And these plants out here, I usually have them outside on my porch during the warmer months, and then I bring them in the winter months. So if we go over here, this is my peace lily plant. The peace lily plant is the only plant that stays indoors all year round because it does not like direct sunlight. This is my third peace lily plant. I did purchase this a little bit ago from Aldi's, and it was on clearance for $13. I usually see a peace lily plant this size in regular stores for about $29 to $30. So I thought $13 was a good really a stealer price. So I did buy that. As I mentioned, this is my third peace lily plant. The other two I did kill last winter when I moved it downstairs to my family room. It was a bit too cold down there for it. It started drooping and I thought it needed more water. So I watered it, and in fact it was just too cold down there for it. So the roots did rot out with all that water and I was not able to revive it. The other plant that I have in this space is another set of spider plant that I have up here. And I would say this plant is in its adolescent stage. It was one of the first plant that I transplanted from the big mother plant, and I did so successfully. So this, I think I did this over a year ago, and it's growing quite nicely. So this is my testimonial plant, guys. I do have other plants in other parts of my home. I have in my dining room a aloe vera plant that I use on a weekly basis in my hair and skincare routine, especially in the winter months when my skin and hair dries out a bit. I use aloe vera to add moisture back into my skin and hair. So I am planning on making a future video about how I use aloe vera in my skin and hair routine. So stay tuned for that video. The other plants that I have in my home are herb plants that I use in my weekly cooking recipes. So I have a rosemary plant, a sweet basil plant, and an oregano plant. Again, I use those quite often, and they are in my kitchen and dining room at this time. So guys, that's it for the plant section of this room. I did add some other things in this room to just kind of make it cozy, inviting, enjoyable, and any room that I work on in my space, in my home, I like to add my own touch to it, or a handprint of some sort. So I will touch on some of those projects that I did in here. So starting with this fireplace is functional. I don't use it though. I use it mostly for decor instead of heat. It gives this room a really nice warm look, but I don't ever light it. I did, when I moved into this home almost 2 years ago, I did repaint this fireplace to this white color. It was originally a finished wood, and I just like white better, so I painted it with some white paint that I had on hand, and I love the way it came out. If we go back around this corner, this ladder here I did feature in a previous video. This was originally a headboard. It belonged to my daughter, and she kind of outgrew it. It was the headboard she used when she was in elementary school, and she outgrew it, and I meant to drop it off at the thrift store or put it on the curb, and that just never happened. It stayed in my garage, and I looked at it the other day and decided it would be a good DIY project where I can transform it into a ladder and hang my throw on it. So I did that, and I really am happy with the results. This bookshelf over here I moved up from my family room downstairs, and I believe this was a Walmart buy a few years ago, and I just have it to display a few decorative items. So on this wall I have these 3 framed prayers. These prayers were something that I was inspired to write some years back, and I just printed them off, and I got these frames from Walmart. They came like 3 in a pack for under $10, and I framed them. So the first one says, "Jehovah, please grant me the request to be under your lordship, O sovereign God." The middle one is more of a an acknowledgement or affirmation, and it just says, "We," meaning my family and I, "are here but for your grace, O great King." And that's us recognizing, but for God's grace, we are here in this home, but for God's grace, we are happy, but for God's grace, we are in good health. And then this third one, it says, "Jehovah, I welcome you into my life. Your power has no boundaries, therefore invade all of me." And this is an acknowledgement of God's vast power, his power that has no boundaries. And my family and I are making a statement that we want God to be in control of our lives, to direct us, to lead us in this life that he has given us to live. Then if we move over here on this sectional, I have these throw pillows here. And like I mentioned in a previous video, these are all old throw pillows that I've had for some years now. I think I picked them up in either Ross or Walmart, and I just kind of recover them each season with new fabric. And this, the pattern fabric I got from Hobby Lobby back in December. So then if we move, I'm going to circle the room a bit, and then I'm going to move to this wall here. This is a piece that I saw something similar at Hobby Lobby back in the fall of last year, and it was like $40, and I wanted to make my own, so I ended up going to my local Habitat for Humanity restore, and I picked up an old window for about $5. I cleaned it up, repainted it this white color with white paint that I had on hand. And then I went to Hobby Lobby and got this Count Your Blessings stencil, and I painted it on the window. And the little box, it's a little wooden box that I made out of wooden name tags that I got from the dollar store, and I just used my hot glue gun and made a little box. The little jewelry pieces on it came from an old piece of jewelry that I had that I wasn't using anymore, and then some jute cord I wrapped around the top. These pictures in this 2 picture frames are toddler pictures of my children and I that I had printed out at Walmart. So I had the black and white prints done at Walmart, and I stuck them in these 2 picture frames, and they're more of a comparative picture to see who looked like who around the same age. So guys, that is it for this video of my attempt to make my living room a little bit more cozy for the winter. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you were inspired to do greatness with your space, to make it you, to put your fingerprints on your space, and to most of all enjoy it. So thanks again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below, and I will see you on the next video.